When death tasted like tequila. At the edge of the galaxy, aboard the dreadnought Vigil and Harmony, High Director Salvatore Tarkas was supposed to be celebrating the end of humanity. Instead, his bridge echoed with singing. Not the pained, rattling wheezes of asphyxiating mammals. Not the grand, tragic symphony his xenobiologists promised him. No, what came through the speakers was loud, off-key, and disturbingly joyous. "What?" Salvatore growled, a glob of spittle flying with each syllable. "Is that grotesque noise?" Around him, 40 of the Empire's finest officers suddenly found the deck plating very, very interesting. None dared meet his eyes. On the main screen, Earth burned and partied. Downtown Brisbane looked less like ground zero of an extinction event and more like an open-air concert. Humans were dancing, shouting, singing something about Sweet Caroline. Someone had stripped to his boots and was chugging from a sleek black VX-9 toxin canister, a liquid nerve agent engineered to kill anything with a pulse in under 10 seconds. His comrades cheered him on, banging empty canisters like war drums. One particularly innovative soldier had even built a beer bong out of artillery shells and a storm drain pipe, pouring more VX-9 into the funnel. "Sir," whispered Communications Officer Pratchett, "our analysis confirms the melody is Sweet Caroline." The chorus hit. The mob of humans threw their arms up and screamed, "Ba ba bh," punctuating each shout by firing assault rifles skyward. Shells rained down. Laughter followed. It sounded like a celebration. Salvatore's left eye twitched. It had been twitching for 6 hours, ever since he'd ordered 19 major Earth cities saturated with VX-9. Now, that twitch had its own smaller twitch orbiting it like a moon of fury. "And the other sites?" he rasped. Pratchett swallowed hard. "Similar conditions, Your Eminence. Chaotic gatherings. Vocalizations. Extreme enthusiasm." Someone at the back muttered, "That's not all they're enthusiastic about." Salvatore didn't even look up. "Airlock." "But, sir." "Air-lock." 2 guards dragged the unlucky officer away. The rest stood in perfect, terrified silence. "So the entire species is having a sing-along," Salvatore said flatly. "Wonderful." He jabbed a claw at the console. "Get me Dr. Vashon. Now." Moments later, a frazzled, smoke-stained xenobiologist stumbled onto the bridge, his lab coat still smoldering from what was clearly another failed experiment. "Your Eminence," he squeaked. "I can explain." "Can you?" Salvatore's voice was low, the kind of calm that made seasoned soldiers rethink their career choices. "Because from where I stand, our weapon, the culmination of 40 years of Axron science, the jewel of our war machine, seems to have turned an extinction into a street festival." On screen, a squad of Marines had formed a volleyball court using looted Christmas lights. Their ball was an unactivated VX-9 canister, glowing faintly green each time someone spiked it over the net. The crowd roared. "They're dying," Vashon blurted. "Just slower than expected. With more, expressive flailing." "Expressive flailing," Salvatore repeated, each syllable like a drop of acid. "Do go on." "Well," Vashon stammered, "it appears that when humans ingest VX-9 rather than inhaling it, their livers metabolize the compound into an ethanol analog, which—" Salvatore raised a single claw. "Stop. You're telling me our superweapon, the nerve agent that bankrupted 3 star systems, is getting them drunk?" Vashon's middle eye twitched in sympathy. "Technically, yes, but the process is getting them drunk." Silence. A silence so thick it could freeze helium. On the screen, humans stumbled through a half-collapsed shopping mall in a conga line, wearing empty toxin canisters as hats. Salvatore clicked his claws together. "Airlock this one too. Let's see how he metabolizes vacuum." Vashon's pleas echoed down the hall as guards dragged him away. Their livers reverse-engineer death into dopamine. It's impossible. It's heresy against biology itself. "Next." Salvatore snapped. A new scientist stepped forward, young, poised, composed. His uniform looked freshly pressed, his eyes calm in a way that suggested either genius or total detachment from reality. "Dr. Sheldon Kahn," he introduced smoothly. "Xenobiology and behavioral science." Can you kill them? Salvatore asked bluntly. Sheldon considered the screen. A human officer, shirtless and weeping, was using a shattered Axron sensor probe as a ladle to serve glowing green shots from a repurposed fuel tank. Around him, dozens toasted to brotherhood and explosive friendship. Every living thing has a poison, Sheldon said at last. We just have to find theirs. I don't want a dissertation, Doctor, Salvatore hissed. I want results. Humanity must end. Sheldon nodded once. Understood. Though, understanding why they survive may be the key to ensuring they don't again. Salvatore glared. Fine. But if you fail, your molecules will decorate 6 different star systems. Sheldon inclined his head. Efficient recycling, sir. That earned him a pause. Salvatore didn't know whether to admire or despise the man, so he settled for both. Chapter 2. The Empirical Truth. The shuttle Empirical Truth landed with a dull thud in what used to be Cairns, Australia, now a wasteland of music, fire, and public indecency. Sheldon stepped out into chaos. The air shimmered with heat and the smell of alcohol, ozone, and victory. Empty VX, 9 canisters littered the ground like spent confetti. Personal log, Dr. Sheldon Kahn, he muttered into his recorder. Surface contamination extreme. Civilian behavior unquantifiable. A beer bottle whizzed past his helmet, trailing foam. It shattered on a wall behind him, leaving behind a smear of lipstick and a phone number. "Oi, sorry mate," a human called, stumbling out from behind a barricade of vending machines. He was pink-faced, smiling, and unmistakably alive. "Thought you were my lieutenant. Bloke owes me $20 and a rematch at Flip Cup." "I am his replacement," Sheldon replied carefully. His translator struggled to process the dialect. The human blinked. "You're purple." "I am mauve," Sheldon corrected. "Right. You look like you need a drink." The human thrust a half-empty VX-9 canister into his hands. "Can't be the end of the world without company." Before Sheldon could respond, the man wandered off to flirt with the lipstick phone number. Sheldon stared at the canister. Then, with slow precision, he sealed it in his specimen case. He had the data. Now he needed understanding. The city was a carnival of madness. In a park, soldiers and civilians sang arm in arm around a bonfire of burning office chairs. A corporal wept into a sergeant's shoulder while trying, and failing, to play the harmonica. The sound was hideous and heartfelt. Nearby, 2 civilians argued philosophy over a traffic cone full of glowing VX-9. "What if," slurred the first, "we're all just code, man? And the aliens tried to delete us, but our files corrupted. So now they can't uninstall us." His friend gasped, eyes glassy with awe. "That's beautiful. You're beautiful." They hugged. A long, clumsy, sincere embrace. 43 seconds, precisely. Sheldon documented every detail. But something about it, about them, unnerved him. These humans weren't just surviving. They were connecting. Turning annihilation into community. Death into dopamine. Toxin into tequila. Hours later, he reached a makeshift field hospital, a pharmacy converted into a medic station. A human in a blood-stained uniform waved him over. "You one of the new docs. Grab a kit." Sheldon hesitated. "I am not authorized to treat." "Authorized?" The medic laughed, handing him a roll of bandages. "Buddy, if you got hands, you're authorized." Together, they patched wounds, poured VX-9 onto cuts, sterilizes kinda, and sang to keep spirits up. Sheldon watched, fascinated. Pain tolerance high. Empathy higher. Every action, every laugh, every tear was defiance in motion. When he asked one soldier why they weren't afraid, she smiled through a split lip. "Because if the world's ending, Doc, we're damn well ending it together." He didn't record that line. He knew he'd never forget it. Chapter 3. The Human Problem. Back aboard Vigilant Harmony, Salvatore listened to Sheldon's report with a growing sense of dread. "So let me clarify," he said slowly. "They've turned our nerve gas into a social lubricant." "Essentially," Sheldon replied. "It enhances bonding, suppresses fear, and induces euphoria. They are immune to despair. Then we give them more, Salvatore snapped. Double the dosage. With respect, Sheldon said calmly, that will only make them happier. Salvatore froze. Happier? Yes, sir. Based on current data, humans weaponize trauma into celebration. Every attempt to destroy them reinforces their cohesion. Pain becomes fuel. Loss becomes laughter. Then how, Salvatore hissed, does one conquer such a species? Sheldon's eyes glimmered. You don't. You join the party, or you leave the planet. The transmission ended. For a long time, the High Director said nothing. On the main screen, a human crowd was attempting to build a mechanical bull out of an Axron hover tank. Salvatore's jaw twitched once, twice. Finally, he gave the only order he could. Withdraw the fleet. Sir, gasped his officers. But no weapon forged by reason, he said quietly, can defeat creatures who make love to their own apocalypse. Epilogue, 48 hours later. Earth's skies cleared. The vigilant harmony was gone. Humanity woke up hungover, bruised, and united. In downtown Brisbane, a soldier found an alien data recorder half buried in rubble. He squinted at the screen. Personal log, the translation began. Dr. Sheldon Kahn. Conclusion: humanity is not a species. It is an event. Contagious. Incurable. Beautiful. The soldier grinned. Hell yeah, brother. He raised an empty VX-9 canister in toast. To surviving the impossible. And somewhere, deep in space, even an alien scientist had to agree.